Good morning, and welcome to another morning manifestation session. It is indeed a great day for transformation. Today is Thursday, June 15th, 2023. Welcome, good people. I am your host. Samion. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you this morning. Pleasure to be with you as we focus on celebrating humanity. It is our goals, our intention, and our mission to inspire, motivate, and heal lives and relationships across the globe. And we're grateful to be here this morning to be your proverbial fuel station, filling you up so that you don't have to run on empty. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you this morning. So here at One Transformation Center, as I stated before, it's our mission to inspire, motivate, and heal lives and relationships across the globe. We are grateful to be able to support you and for us to be able to join with you on the fulfillment of your transformation. You know, each and every one of us, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. There's nothing wrong with having a little friendly reminders of that each and every day as we continue to navigate through this maze that we call life. So, for those who are here for the first time, we say welcome. Those who have joined us again, welcome back. This is what we do. We first begin with breath of life, do some stretches, get the blood flowing. Then we transition over to our oath of manifestation, followed by our affirmative reading, word of the day. Then we continue with our prayer of gratitude. That's how we conclude it. And before we get started, please do me a favor. Those who are coming into the room, whether you're listening live or the replay, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, comment. Use the hashtag morning manifestation. Hashtag morning manifestation. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to have your feedback on today's session. How we can make it even better for you. All right, so without any further ado, let's begin to prepare our minds and our hearts to move in our session called Breathe for Life. Let's move into this session, Breathe for Life now. Y'all doing well this morning? Are you excited about the day and the contributions that you get to make to it today? In the realization of the gifts that you are? If not, let's shift that. Let's begin to raise our arms by raising our arms as we inhale. Raise our arms above our heads. And stretch. Stretch as high as you can. Reach in for everything that you desire. And pull again into you as you release your arms back down to your side. Now, the breath of life is very important. We frequently forget to breathe. Let's do it again. Stretch up again. In doing our breathing sessions, it allows us to be able to be conscious of our breaths. Reach, and bring it back down to the side. And in this consciousness, we are now allowing our minds turn to the left, stretch, to be able to shift from a space of response. Now turn to your right. Space for a reaction to response. Back to the left. positioning ourselves to increase our oxytocins, which allow us to be more vital, more viable, more energetic, more productive. Yes. Now, with each breath, with each inhale, I want us to begin to focus on allowing everything that is working together for our best and highest good to become a part of who we are. And with each exhale, we're releasing everything, every thought, every behavior, every action, every disappointment, every person, place, or thing that no longer supports us. We're releasing it, letting it go. We're letting it go. So let's take a deep breath. Inhale. Take a deep breath. Inhaling through our nose. Begin. And release through your mouth. Again, a deep inhale through your nose. And release. One last time. Inhale through your nose. And exhale. Yes. And let's begin to stretch our arms above our heads again to open up to a greater level of receptivity. And back down to the side. Yes. Let's roll our shoulders backwards. Relieve the tension that we have inherited throughout our day yesterday. Roll them forward. We want to walk into this day lighter, freer, less attached to the past, so that we can be present to this gift of right now. Shake your arms out. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake everything off. Shake it off of you. All the extra weight, all the pressure. Let it go. Good job. Now it's time for us to transition to our oath of manifestation. The oath of manifestation is the promise that we make to ourselves to be in complete alignment with everything that is awaiting our arrival, that which is seen and unseen, known and unknown, that which is tangible and intangible, that is expected and unexpected. We make this declaration for our freedom to be connected to all that will continue to support us on our journey. Let's declare this promise with absolute passion. Read along with me as we declare. I accept and receive unexpected good, unexpected money, unexpected love, unexpected kindness, unexpected generosity, unexpected offers, unexpected prosperity, coming in unexpected ways from unexpected places in my life, and in the life of others. I am constantly guided and boldly empowered to receive the lavish abundance of the universe. I accept the principle that abundance and prosperity have already been given to me. My acceptance makes it real and opens the space for manifestation to rush in. I open wide the doors of my consciousness to receive and to give. It is done now. Through this oath of manifestation, all things are possible. I declare absolutely that I live in a friendly universe that is always providing for me. I feel it powerfully happening now. I open to receive more abundance and to give more abundance than I have ever experienced before. I can afford anything I desire. In fact, I am so prosperous, I need never worry again. I am grateful for all that I already have, and grateful for all that I am ready to give. I keep myself lifted in high consciousness, no matter what the appearances are. God is all there is. I let the God times roll, and so it is. Now take this moment and place this oath, this promise that you've made to yourself, on the mantle of your heart. Sit it there and allow these words to penetrate, to permeate into the very core, the very essence of your being, hereby stimulating each and every cell, activating your DNA to work for your best and highest good in the utilization of your promise, of this oath. For you are deserving. You are worthy. All right, let's take this time to transition. Let's transition over to our affirmative reading. Transition to our affirmative reading, which of course comes from A Course of Miracles, A Course in Miracles, which can be found at www.acim. Again, that is A Course in Miracles, which can be found at www.acim. I'm going to place it into the chat today's session so that you can read along with us if you choose, or come back and revisit it today. As you can see, and the chat is open too, by the way. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it there. As you can see, today's lesson comes from Lesson 166. Today's reminder comes from Lesson 166. It tells us that we are entrusted. I am entrusted with the gifts of God. The affirmation statement, the statement of affirmation is, I am entrusted with the gift of God. Let's take a moment, position ourselves to receive today's reading, which is a little lengthy. So make yourself a little comfortable from our narrator.
Lesson 166. I am entrusted with the gifts of God. All things are given you. God's trust in you is limitless. He knows His Son. He gives without exception, holding nothing back that can contribute to your happiness. And yet, unless your will is one with His gifts are not received. But what would make you think there is another will than His? Here is the paradox that underlies the making of the world. This world is not the will of God, and so it is not real. Yet those who think it real must still believe there is another will, and one that leads to opposite effects from those He wills. Impossible indeed, but every mind that looks upon the world and judges it as certain, solid, trustworthy, and true, believes in two creators, or in one, Himself alone, but never in one God. The gifts of God are not acceptable to anyone who holds such strange beliefs. He must believe that to accept God's gifts, however evident they may become, however urgently he may be called to claim them as his own, is to be pressed to treachery against himself. He must deny their presence, contradict the truth, and suffer to preserve the world He made. Here is the only home he thinks he knows. Here is the only safety he believes that he can find. Without the world He made is he an outcast, homeless, and afraid. He does not realize that it is here he is afraid indeed and homeless too, an outcast wandering so far from home, so long away he does not realize he has forgotten where he came from, where he goes, and even who he really is. Yet, in his lonely, senseless wanderings, God's gifts go with him, all unknown to him. He cannot lose them. He will not look at what is given him. He wanders on, aware of the futility he sees about him everywhere, perceiving how his little lot but dwindles as he goes ahead to nowhere. Still he wanders on in misery and poverty, alone though God is with him, and a treasure His so great that everything the world contains is valueless before its magnitude. He seems a sorry figure, weary, worn in threadbare clothing, and with feet that bleed a little from the rocky road he walks. No one but has identified with him, for everyone who comes here has pursued the path he follows and has felt defeat and hopelessness as he is feeling them. Yet is he really tragic when you see that he is following the way he chose and need but realize who walks with him and open up his treasures to be free. This is your chosen self, the one you made as a replacement for reality. This is the self you savagely defend against all reason, every evidence, and all the witnesses with proof to show this is not you. You heed them not. You go on your appointed way with eyes cast down lest you might catch a glimpse of truth and be released from self-deception and set free. You cower fearfully lest you should feel Christ's touch upon your shoulder and perceive His gentle hand directing you to look upon your gifts. How could you then proclaim your poverty in exile? He would make you laugh at this perception of yourself. Where is self-pity then? And what becomes of all the tragedy you sought to make for Him, whom God intended only joy? Your ancient fear has come upon you now, and justice has caught up with you at last. Christ's hand has touched your shoulder, and you feel that you are not alone. You even think the miserable self you thought was you may not be your identity. Perhaps God's word is truer than your own. Perhaps His gifts to you are real. Perhaps He has not wholly been outwitted by your plan to keep His Son in deep oblivion and go the way you chose without yourself. God's will does not oppose, it merely is. It is not God you have imprisoned in your plan to lose yourself. He does not know about a plan so alien to His will. There was a need He did not understand, to which He gave an answer. That is all. And you who have this answer given you have need no more of anything but this. Now do we live, for now we cannot die. The wish for death is answered, and the sight that looked upon it now has been replaced by vision, which perceives that you are not what you pretend to be. One walks with you who gently answers all your fears with this one merciful reply: it is not so. He points to all the gifts you have each time the thought of poverty oppresses you, and speaks of His companionship when you perceive yourself as lonely and afraid. Yet He reminds you still of one thing more you had forgotten. For His touch on you has made you like Himself. The gifts you have are not for you alone. What He has come to offer you, you now must learn to give. This is the lesson that His giving holds. For He has saved you from the solitude you sought to make in which to hide from God. He has reminded you of all the gifts that God has given you. He speaks as well of what becomes your will when you accept these gifts and recognize they are your own. The gifts are yours, entrusted to your care, to give to all who chose the lonely road you have escaped. They do not understand, they but pursue their wishes. It is you who teach them now. For you have learned of Christ there is another way for them to walk. Teach them by showing them the happiness that comes to those who feel the touch of Christ and recognize God's gifts. Let sorrow not tempt you to be unfaithful to your trust. Your sighs will now betray the hopes of those who look to you for their release. Your tears are theirs. If you are sick, you but withhold their healing. What you fear but teaches them their fears are justified. Your hand becomes the giver of Christ's touch. Your change of mind becomes the proof that who accepts God's gifts can never suffer anything. You are entrusted with the world's release from pain. Betray it not. Become the living proof of what Christ's touch can offer everyone. God has entrusted all His gifts to you. Be witness in your happiness to how transformed the mind becomes, which chooses to accept His gifts and feel the touch of Christ. Such is your mission now. For God entrusts the giving of His gifts to all who have received them. He has shared His joy with you, and now you go to share it with the world.
And this is the word of the day. This is the reading of the day, which comes from lesson 166 from A Course in Miracles, with the affirmation, I am entrusted with the gifts of God. As I'm listening to this, one essential theme came up. And it's this: victory or victimization. Choose one. Victory or victimhood. Choose one. See, we don't understand that. We think that we can compile and conflate being victorious and being a victim. For you can only be victorious when you've transcended victimhood, when you've transcended victimization, when you no longer see yourself or behold yourself in the mindset or with the identity of being a victim. Now you may ask, what does that have to do with being entrusted with the gifts of God? It's the mindset. If you move with the space of victimization, then you can only see a world of being victimized. Yet, if you move in the world, you move with the mindset of being victorious, that you rise above, you transcend your circumstances and situations, that you are more than what this perceived reality indicates. If you can remember who your source is and what your source is, not just from the financial benefits, not just from materialistic goods, but also from the very basic essentials of love, the sentiments of love, of joy, of peace. The understandings that give us the underlays, the foundational aspects of who we are, so that we don't operate on the space of feelings. We operate from fact. And by doing so, then we'll begin to understand that there's no two worlds. There is only one. Only one. So once we realize that there is only one, then we have to choose which world is it. Because we can attempt to make it a world that we are creating by ourselves. That we're creating from a space of lack. That we're creating from a space of solitude. When the reality is that there is something that is more powerful than us. And we have to ask the question, how is that possible if we are the extension, if we are spiritual beings having a human experience? If we are the extension and the reflection of something greater than the very essence of who we are, greater than this tissue, this matter that has become mass, this energy that has become matter, that's become mass, to form a physical vessel for our spirit and soul to be housed, to give us the ability to operate in this space. In this dimension, to fulfill the will and the purpose, the plan that we have been entrusted with prior to our initiation into this physical existence, within our soul contract. We have to remember that all things are given to us. They're given to us. What we do with them, how we utilize them, how we position ourselves with these things with these gifts determine what our perceptions are, what we think reality is, what our experiences are moment by moment, day by day, week by week. But what is unchangeable, what is changeless, is that God trusts you. God's trust in you is limitless. Even though you may go through these metamorphoses, these transitions to the Creator that has created you, you are still the same. For the energy and essence that we know as God continues to see us as an extension and reflection of itself. And more times than none, it's navigating outside of its will. That have chosen to find ourselves conflating with or investing in a world that is not the will of God. And so since it is not the will of God, it is an illusion that's been created from our ego. E-G-O. Edging God out. Now, simply because the gifts have been entrusted to you, they've been given to you, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're always acceptable or accessible. Because if you're continuously investing your energy and attention into illusions of this world, until false evidences appearing real, then the gifts of God are not acceptable to you. Doesn't mean that they don't exist, they do. But you have just moved yourself away from it. You have locked the door and hid the key from yourself. Because you've held on to strange beliefs that are not in alignment with the truth of who you are and whose you are. You have forgotten. You've made yourself homeless. You've made yourself an outcast. You've created a sense of hunger in you that never had to exist because you were constantly fed. Your provisions were always provided. But until you realize that here, within the kingdom of God, within this world that is, where there is a plan, there's a vision that is unchangeable, that is changeless. Here is the only home that exists, not the one that you created. But when you buy into the hype, the illusions, these false premises, then you think you have a home in this space. You have a home without any shelter. You think that there's safety there. But then you feel out of place. So when you have those symptoms of feeling like an outcast, feeling homeless, and afraid, just understand the simple solution is to release what you think you know. Let go of the ideas, the philosophies, the false imaginings, the illusions that you think you know. And to go back inside and surrender to the will of God. Then you will realize, then you will remember that God's will does not oppose. There's no opposition in God's will. There's no war in God's will. There's no disenfranchisement in God's will. So if you're not experiencing synergy, alignment, if you're not experiencing peace that surpasses all understanding, synergy, then are you really in God's will? See, so many of us are really just tapping into the gifts for our own benefits. But today reminds us, and today's reading reminds us that the gifts you have are not for you alone. They're not for you alone. What you have, what he has come to offer you, and now you must learn to give. For to give and to receive are one and the same. And the reality is, in order for you to truly know the gifts that you possess, you must give it so that you can see the activation of it. You have the gift of sight. Help others to see. Whatever your gift is, whatever your gifts are, give them to others. You have the gift of song. Help others to sing. Give this gift to someone else. You have the gift of creation. Help others to create. You have the gift of gab, the gift of speak. Help others to begin to be able to speak on their own behalves. This is why you have a gift. If anyone has ever proclaimed to you, say, man, you have a gift, it is your responsibility, your duty to help others through that gift. If you ever feel like you are not receiving the benefits that you, or the support that you feel like you should have, if you're feeling that through your gift your gift hasn't been making room for you, that means that you have chosen to keep that gift to yourself alone. That you have not been giving it. You have not been gifting it to others. For when you do, your gift shall make room for you. So I want to challenge you today to get a firm understanding, a greater understanding of what your gift is, or what your gifts are. Then I want you to go forth and give that gift to someone else. You may have the gift of mental aptitude. Help others to be able to think and to see beyond their own illusions. The reading shares with us today, Course in Miracles shares with us today, that you are entrusted with the world's release from pain. Through your giving of your gifts, you shall release the world from pain. So if you are experiencing pain, it's because you have not been giving. You have not been serving in the capacity of release for others. Once you begin to serve in that capacity, you will begin to release, to provide yourself the relief that you desire, to relieve yourself from pain, from disappointment, from dis-ease. I was talking to one of my oldest allies, her mother. Spent some time with her, rehashing on the past. For I've known her for almost 45 years. She's seen me grow up. see me become the man that I am today. And you would think this would be an unlikely friendship, an unlikely connection, especially in the time that I was growing up and in the space, the environment that I lived in. And she shared with me, because there's been many times when she was in the hospital and she asked for me. Someone that didn't necessarily keep up with her throughout all the years. Someone who was focused on life and the essence thereof, but still was going through struggles, trying to figure out how I can be an asset and not a liability. And she would go, before she'd go under the knife, she would have her daughter call me and ask me to come to the hospital. And I could very easily say, man, I haven't talked to you in forever. Why would you call me? But understood, my name is Samuel, which means called by God. I also go by Samion, which is called by and heard by God. And so she asked me to come and pray with her. I did. Then she was telling me the story when she was in the hospital. One particular time. And the staff came in the room and said, "Oh, you're still here?" And she responded, "Yeah, where am I going?" Without realizing that the staff automatically declared that she was transitioning out of here, that she wasn't going to make it. But yet she blew them away. She surprised them. And in the midst of that space, she began to give inspiration, to give hope. One young lady who didn't necessarily know how to speak up for herself received the gift of being assertive by watching her fight for her life and watching her be resilient and choosing to live. She began to make choices for her own self that allowed her to be able to live life more freer, more fuller. And in turn, my friend, continued to heal quickly, progress in ways that they never thought was possible. They thought that she was going to have a lengthy hospital stay, but yet, here's somebody who couldn't even walk. And she told them that she needed to use the restroom, and they said, "We'll get you a bedpan." She said, No, I'll walk to the restroom. He said, "You can't walk." She said, I can walk up and down these halls." He said, "No, you can't." She said, "Prove it." They got her off the bed. She walked and used the restroom. They gave her a walker just to help support her. The next thing you know, she's walking up and down the hospital hallways. So they released her to a rehabilitation center, and she went in there and she excelled with flying colors. So then I let her go back to her domain, her home. There is nothing too hard for God. Once you remember who is your source. Once you make a decision to choose victory or victimization or victimhood, to choose victory or victimhood. When you choose victory, there's nothing too hard for you. You can do all things through that Christ energy within you. The passage says, "I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me." Let's pray. Father, Mother God, I give thanks today that you have entrusted us with your gifts. Not for us to hold in a space of safe haven or harboring, not for us to hoarder and to find only personal delight and value, but to give to others, to support others with the realization of who they are, and to allow them to see the light and to be aligned with the gifts that are within them so that they may, in turn, be a blessing to another, be freedom to another, be healing to another. That they may continue to extend your kingdom, your plan, beyond the threshold. Father, Mother God, we just simply surrender to your will today. That your will shall be done on earth, in us, with us, as us, and through us, as it is in heaven. We thank you for this day and all the provisions that have been granted, all the roads that have been paved, all the hearts that have been softened, all the minds that have been prepared to receive us, to support us on our journey. We thank you for believing in us, for never, ever wavering in your belief, for only choosing to see the divine in us. We thank you for entrusting us with the world's release from pain. We just simply ask that you allow us to see with your eyes, to be one in accordance with your mind. We surrender our vehicle, this vessel, to you, that your will shall be done. Open the doors that are to be opened and close those that need to be closed. For you alone are our source. And we yield to that. We yield, for you alone are the plan that you have for us. Plan to prosper us and not to harm us. Plan to give us hope and a future. For you alone are omnipotent and omnipresent. For you alone are all-knowing. And you give us the opportunity to be an extension and reflection of you. And we give thanks for this. We give thanks for our healing. We give thanks for the peace that surpasses all understanding. We give thanks for reuniting and reconnecting with the home that you have for us. We thank you for the courage to operate from a space of victory and releasing the need to be a victim of victimization, to identify with victimization or victimhood. We know that everything works together for our best and highest good, so we continue to choose you, your way, your will, your vision, your plan. So we give thanks for this, and we ask that this is done in us, through us, as us, for us, so that we may be that which you called us to be to others who are awaiting your arrival. Give us this day our daily bread. Have us to begin to see the strength that is within us, the vitality that is within us, and how that which we create, that which we do, is nothing compared to who we are in you. So we today declare that we choose you, your will and your way. And so it is. Amen and Ashe. Let's take a moment now. Well, for those who have joined us late, please take a moment to go back and listen to the replay. Start from the beginning. You can find this at YouTube. YouTube on the One Transformation Center YouTube page. While you're there, like the stream. This morning manifestation session, June 15, 2023, 06-15-23. Like the session while you're there. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about today's session. Has it touched you in any way? Share it with someone else so that it may be a support to them as well. So that they can remember the gifts that they're desiring, the freedom that they're desiring, the salvation that they're desiring is within them right now. It's called the kingdom of God, which is within. Also, hit the notification bell, and if you haven't already subscribed, we greatly appreciate your subscription. And for those who choose to want to do a little bit more, who choose to be a greater level of support, please feel free to support the mission of inspiring, motivating, healing lives, relationships across the nation, across the land, across the globe, and provide us with a donation via Giveify. A donation via Giveify. Have your will to be done in our lives. Bless us indeed and enlarge our territories. There's the information in doing so. And those, we'd like to thank you for continuously investing in your transformation. Thank you. We hope that you continue to join us daily throughout the week at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and on the weekends at 8 a.m. Let you sleep in a little bit more, become regenerated, reignited, refueled. So, in turn, again, we say to you, go forth and be the change you desire to see. Have a great day, and remember to be the change you desire to see. Without any further ado, as always, we love you. We embrace you. We honor you. We see God in you. Continue to be great, good people. Until tomorrow.